Hey guys, welcome to the Gear Channel, and yeah, I'm Gary. So anyway, some of you guys have noticed this hoist in my garage, and I thought I'd take a minute talk about some of the pitfalls and challenges and things to know about. If you're on the fence about getting a hoist in your garage, I can go over some of the little details, challenges, pitfalls that I ran into when I got this thing set up in here. So I guess first of all, this hoist is a 7-foot tall by 14-foot long, 8,000 pound capacity as indicated on the label here. So this thing's rated at 8,000 pounds, and I believe I paid it was $3,000 taxes in and delivered back about 12 years ago. So I've owned this thing for 12 years, and yeah, it's been a godsend. I enjoy this thing, but I'd like to go over some of the things that you need to know when you're setting these things up in your garage. So first off, I should clarify that I am not sponsored by any, I'm not here to plug any particular brands or types of hoists. This is just me having used this thing for 12 years in my garage. And for the record, this particular brand, now this says Ken Nan. I believe they were out of Edmonton, Alberta when I bought this thing. These guys no longer exist. I think they were bought out by a company called Quantum Lifts in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I could be wrong about that, but on the upside, I know I can still get parts for this thing, so that's a good deal. Anyway, so this 8,000 pound hoist that I set up in my garage 12 years ago, I wanted to first of all share with you one challenge I had with the door. So basically these are 9x7 insulated aluminum garage doors, your typical garage doors you find on a lot of homes. And first thing I did was phoned up all the local door companies, and no one was interested in really helping me modify my existing door to work with this hoist. And basically what they wanted to do was all sell me a brand new door, which at the time would have been $1,000, and only then were they interested in helping me get this thing to work with the hoist in the garage. So I got pissed off, and I ended up buying some of this garage door track. I believe these are sold in 8-foot sections, and it cost me at that time $30 to buy one 8-foot section. And what I did was I cut two 32-inch pieces of track to get the proper height to get this thing up in the air high enough to clear the car, etc. So if you have a garage door opener like I do on this side of the hoist that ends up being quite low, that thing's going to be in the way, and I'm not going to get a whole lot of height if I leave this thing in place. So yeah, I had to modify the door and get it up in the air. So like I say, that cost me $30 to do, and you have to bring the tracks have to be extended out from the wall slightly. I think I've got about 5-6 inches there of an extension to get it away from the wall as it goes up in the air. And one thing to keep in mind with these garage doors, as you lift them, a lot of the weight is transferred onto this horizontal section here. So every panel, as the higher you lift it, weight is taken off and placed on this horizontal piece. So lifting these doors with the low track is quite easy compared to lifting something like that, because I've got an extra 3 feet to go up before any panels make their way onto the top section. So this makes this door very hard to lift. What I basically did after I extended the track, I tightened the spring up as tight as I can go, and as I lift it, I have a couple of locking rods here I've manufactured to on both sides of the door to lock that in place when it is up in the air, so it doesn't fall down on my head and kill me. So that is one little challenge I ran into, was modifying that thing. I do have future plans. You can buy side openers for these things that basically mount right up there on the rod, and and it'll be all automatic from there. So I do have future plans for that, but I've been opening this thing for, like I say, 12 years, and it's been working fine and no problems, other than it is a little heavier. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you're setting this thing up. The other thing, now these hoists, I've decided to secure this one to the floor. So this one's actually laid down to the floor at all four corners. It isn't necessary with these. These actually come with wheels, so that you can attach wheels to each one of the legs and move this thing around. There's a little bung on here for attaching the wheels, and even if there's a car on there, it can be moved around, so it makes it kind of nice if you've got the space to do that. Now for me, I've decided, just for safety reasons, I like the thing laid down, but it's not totally necessary. And another thing to be aware of with these little bungs that the wheels attach to, on the front one here, where the motor and pump live, this little hose that runs to the cylinder actually lays down on the floor, and if you're not careful, it will catch on this bung. It's actually happened to me. So what I've done is I've secured a little plate on here, so when that hose drapes down on the floor and I lift it up, it doesn't catch on here. So what happened to me was that hose actually caught on that bung, and I tore the hose all to pieces, and I ended up replacing that hose, and this little bulkhead fitting was compromised as well. So that was one little challenge I ran into, and my way of getting around that was just to put a little plate on here to stop it from ever catching on that bung again. And like I say, I don't use the wheels, so that works just fine for me. Another thing to be aware of on these 4-post hoists, this particular model anyway, this is all mechanical locking rods here, and there's no shields on these rods to protect them. When the thing's down on the ground, and I have actually done this, I have stepped on these by accident, and I've put a little bend in the rod here. You could actually see it on this front one. And so you've got a set of these rods on the front, and you've also got a set of rods on the back of the hoist. Again, unshielded metal threaded rods to actuate the locks. So if they get bent, they won't actuate the locks properly. So you got to be aware of that. So just a couple of little things, guys, just to be aware of. These things are a godsend. I really like having it. This particular model also has a jack tray in it. So it has a movable jack tray, and you can place a couple of bottle jacks in there and lift the wheels off the runners if you choose to do that. If you're you know, doing a tire rotation or brake work or something. Also, this model comes with 3 movable drip trays, so it keeps the, you know, any oil dripping onto the car that happens to be parked underneath it, if that's what you choose to do. So yeah, a couple of little things to get to know. Like I say, I paid $3,000 for this thing about 12 years ago. Now the price of hoists isn't really much more than that today. You can get, you know, 2 posts and lots of different variations out there. Like I say, I'm not here to plug any particular brands for you guys. It's just I like using this thing. It's nice to have in here. My original reason for purchasing this was I had 2 hot rods in the garage at the time. I used to park one underneath, one on top, and it leaves room in the garage for our daily drivers. And this is the alternative to having a hoist in the garage, is a set of jack stands and a creeper. And yeah, guys, if you're a long-haired guy like me, that can make for a really bad day. Those things, you catch your hair in them, and I just hate using them. Certainly Dan at D&D Speed Shop knows what I'm talking about when I refer to catching your hair on the creeper. Anyway, really nice thing to have in the garage. Just a few things to be aware of. Like I say, I paid about $3 grand for this thing, and it cost me $30 to modify the door, just to be aware of, you know, how much height you have on the thing. And it's certainly another thing to be aware of, the height of your cars. One thing I noticed with Tri-5s, they've got a taller roof line than, say, you know, our 68 Chevelle here. So be aware of how much height you end up with underneath the car if you're parking stuff underneath. So a couple little things to be aware of. But certainly, now this is not a commercial grade hoist. If you follow the channel, you know I work at J&L Frame and Alignment. I have an alignment hoist that I work on a daily basis. It's Hunter equipment. It actually has lights in it. It's an open front. I really love the thing. This is just this is not a commercial grade. This is a hobby type level of hoist, and there's lots of different versions of this out there. Lots of different, you know, 2-post, 4-post variations a guy can use. So it doesn't matter what your ceiling height is. There's something out there for everybody, and I recommend, you know, having a hoist in the garage for the hobby guy. It's just the best thing ever. So anyways, guys, thought I'd share that with you, and thanks for watching.